I'm Lisa Starr, and it's Natural Time, the YouTube video version of a podcast I do Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And this is the weekend. And on the weekends, I feel like I kind of let my hair down and just want to talk about one aspect of Mayan astrology, which is the 13-day wave spell that we roll through one upon another, like waves. And we're in the middle of the yellow human wave spell. And I talked about it last weekend, but here we are now in it, like the 8th and 9th days of the wave spell. The peak of a wave spell, which is wave-shaped, is the 10th day. So that's actually Monday, but we can feel when we're this close to the top that there's been a lot of growth behind us, that things are accelerating really quickly, that if you imagine like a waveform, what ultimately makes it break is that the pressure is getting faster and more condensed, and it can't hold that form. Like if it's a coil, it snaps apart because it can't actually keep coiling any tighter. There isn't room, or there's too much velocity, and it's just crazy, and the breaking wave moment. So we do feel things are intensified here at the top. We are, wrapping up a memory of the wave spell that was. Today is called Blue Galactic Storm, and when we started 20 days ago, the Blue Storm wave spell, that is a long time ago, and a whole evolution through what Blue Storm taught us. Here on this day, we're basically integrating memories of the lessons learned by Blue Storm, the tribe, the experience of being in a storm, being the storm ourselves. We're weaving that in now to the wave spell that's current, the yellow human one. So I think we could have positive memories by now of some of the things that we went through in the Blue Storm time, while also finishing any business we have with Blue Storm. Or maybe your memories were really fraught because Blue Storm ripped everything up for you. And so having another moment to reflect on or feel the feelings of Blue Storm could just be really distasteful and disruptive, and you don't want it. But it's here, and that's part of the reason I put stuff up a lot, share this information, is because if this is not a good day for you, I want you to feel supported in why it would be hard. It's almost always hard to go through the storm. It's always dynamic because the storm exists within the Zolkin teaching of the 20 different totems or day signs they chose. It is sort of the crescendo. There's a lot of buildup that gets us to a Blue Storm day, just like there's a lot of buildup that gets us to the moment when a wave breaks. Blue Storm is the dynamic reflex against denial, lying, people lying to themselves, or being so unconscious that they can't even fabricate a lie. Just like the overlay of a stultifying white fog is what Blue Storm seeks to disrupt and dispel so that there's bright sunlight. And I've been saying that a lot lately, so forgive me for repeating myself. But this day could be helpful if you've been feeling stuck in certain ways in your thinking and reflecting and decision making and relating and communicating. It could be a nice refreshing blowout of your brain activity, and you could have some, like energy come back to you, and then feel refreshed and maybe even joyful. And if you've been doing really well lately, maybe it could feel like it pushes in against that comfort. So I'm just mentioning the Blue Storm day today because it is pretty recently something we went through so fully that it, I think, warrants a moment to kind of pause and say, wow, blue storm, that's right. And kind of goodbye. Okay, goodbye, blue storm. Won't see you again for a while until we approach the blue storm wave spell, many moons from now. And then tomorrow, on Sunday, you can find this sort of sweet synchronicity that it's a Sunday on the Gregorian calendar, but it is also a yellow Sunday on the Zolkin. And it's a solar day, which is the tone of the 13 tones. It's the one that describes being most sun-like. So we have a yellow solar sun day on a Sunday. So I think you'll remember that it is really oriented to the sun. And what does that mean here? It means enlightenment. That was a word that was chosen for yellow sun. It's about enlightenment, and also like life force, which we of course get from sunlight. We are fed life by the sun. The sun is the center of our galaxy, and all of our life forms are responsive to it. And fire is the element, of course, that's associated with the sun. So I find on yellow sun days that I'm actually like trying to figure out where the sun is. If it's overcast or rainy, I'm missing it. If it's sunny, I want to be out in it. If it's a sunny summer day, I could get too much of it. If it's sunny in winter, I'm going to aim to have exposure to it because I'm hungry for that light and heat. And that's sort of the animal physical response, but then there's also this seeking of enlightenment, and we're in the yellow human wave spell, and I continue to describe yellow human as being really wrestling with human ego, human sort of, we have this aspiration for more and more. We're like the original hoarder, just like, I need more of that, the original addict, the binge eater, the binge drinker. And I don't, I suppose, mean that everyone's eating disordered who's just so into food, but we overconsume in a modern post-industrial life and tech-filled. We overconsume internet information. Like we are just processing too much in almost every part of our lives, while also feeling this incredible scarcity, sometimes about spiritual clarity, sometimes about real human-animal connections. So I think that you can kind of concentrate on the yellow solar sun day with noticing how it's a chance to feed the yellow human wave spell and your experience of being a human being in it with more of that like open seventh chakra direct connection to source. Just bring in the gold light, bring in the gold light. Like yellow solar sun is an opportunity to fill up. And every wave spell really is giving us a higher quality experience of what the tribe is. I talk a lot about shadow and light, but I don't think we complete a wave spell in like human ego. I think that in the yellow human wave spell, we wrestle with a big part of being human, which is our brilliant minds. You know, we're way beyond instinct in our refined frontal lobe. We're incredible inventors and manufacturers and sometimes healers. And so our brain activity is, renowned. So ego comes from that. Ego is driving some important piece of our human evolution and who we become and how we've refined our capacity to be smarter and better than so many other stronger animals, and to outlive so many natural disasters that are infinitely more powerful than our human bodies. So I think we're looking at resilience and having willful natures that allow us to persevere right now. And at the end of the wave spell, we're going to notice how strong and resilient and driven we are in a way that is commendable. It just can get outsized if it's not fueled by the divine realm, meaning you're making choices and using your capacities as a human towards something that is giving and, I guess, loving. And that's going to happen in this wave spell too. In this wave spell, you're going to notice how powerful you are as a human being, and that you want to be one that is illuminated and creating light for others, right? You want to be yellow. Yellow is my obsession when it comes to yellow human. Just be a yellow human. I used to, be raising daughters while learning this calendar, and I would say things to them like that, just straight on, like, be a yellow human. Have that warmth and heat as your generous nature, like the sun itself. So we have until next Thursday in the yellow human wave spell, and then the next one will be red serpent. Won't jump way out ahead to talk about that very much. Remember, you can always hit the podcasts that come out 3 times a week if you want something that is like happening right now. I love to talk about the now when I am teaching. So instead, let's just continue with this arc. Like yellow solar sun on Sunday is going to feed right into the red planetary dragon day on Monday. So on a solar day, when I say it's, a lot like the sun, the reason is because we're so high in our waveform that we are basically like Icarus, we're going to fly to the sun itself. We're so strongly guided and in such a place of ascension. I will join you, the sun, the great sun god. I'm ready. But we are sentient humans, so no. Like, we get as far towards like the dynamic of feeling, fast and light and free. And then it stops because gravity is going to keep us here. And that's what happens on the planetary day, which always follows the solar day. The solar one, we aim for the sun. I say we speak the language of the sun. We make requests because we're up there. We're so close. We want to be seen and heard by this parental divinity that takes care of us and helps us. So this is what I want. And we've done the work over the last 8 days of the wave spell. So we are so much higher than where we started that we want, and we should feel capable of making a good wish. I'm very obstinate. Like, you can't credibly start a journey in this process with like clear intention of where you're going. Like, it's too aspirational. It's too far out in the future. You can start a journey with the intent to get somewhere and see where you're led. And then you'll get far enough along that you see the lay of the land of where you are, and things have happened that have oriented you, and you're closer to a destination, so you know where you're trying to get. And I think that's a new, interesting analogy for the wave spell form and moving through these 13 days. We just start by being willing to go out at all on this adventure, and we're given, purpose for it from the jump. But it takes a while, days, essentially 8 or 9 days before we can really have the authority to say to God, your God, this is what I really want and need. I feel really close to that right now. Like, the beginning of the wave spell, I didn't really know, and that's appropriate. But the closer I am to the solar tone, there's a lot more confidence and like, no, this is what I would like to ask for. And then you have to accept the answer. And that's what's happening on the planetary day that's coming on Monday. You say something to the sun in the solar language, and the sun speaks back to us in our planetary language. And that's why there's this symbiosis between the solar day, the question, the wish, the planetary day, the gift, the answer. And for yellow human, we make this wish from a place of enlightenment, The yellow human wave spell, the day that we ask for help or make a wish, the solar day, is in yellow sun. I think if you're a new listener, this is a lot really fast, but maybe that's in keeping with this sort of blue storm dynamic. Saturday, yellow sun, enlightenment driven Sunday, this particular weekend. There's just a push to go deep. And yet, just know that when yellow human, the wave spell, the tribe that is celebrating it, when we hit the highest peak and where we stop growing, the planetary day, it is in matriarchal divinity. Red dragon, red planetary dragon is the peak of the yellow human wave spell. That is the divine mother. That is the picture the Maya had of where life originates. It originates from the mother in the womb, or the sea creatures in the ocean, when you think about like Darwinian evolution. And also for the Maya, their mythology was from the great crocodile in their waterways. And red dragon is the honoring of the crocodile. So I just want to speak that sometimes, because there's so much fucking patriarchy. I mean, I deal with that in my own life, and I hate to use it as a crutch, like, oh, the patriarchy. But I have friends, partner. I don't have more than one partners, but I've had partners where you're just like, what kind of hippie are you when you're actually unconsciously programmed to hurt women and, overlook that our resilience is our emotional resonance, our capacity to be intuitive. It's our survival tool, and our, rich emotional life. And when that gets shut down or is deemed too much or not a gift, something to avoid, because avoidance is a really strong reaction that is, the frequent way to handle. It's a form of active denial. Like, I deny that. I deny you. So I think it's interesting, and it's possibly profound, that when we get to the planetary day of this wave spell on Monday, we're going to see some form of balance where the female part of being a yellow human, humans are all the genders, but the feminine aspect, if not talking about female biology, but just the feminine aspect that comes from a mother. The mother creates life. Like, this is a biological truth. Just to have kind of an anchor in that for the yellow human to remember paying homage and honor to the mother. I sound like a mother that's trying to drop a lot of hints. Hey, honor me. I'm a mother. I'm not thinking about honoring my own mother, so it's not meant to be hypocrisy. I'm thinking about it more as just the mother within, or the mother of all. In all of humanity, there are all these mothers. Some of them are not nice mothers. Some of them, that sounds like Donald Trump. Some of them are not nice mothers. Some of them are more maternal and nurturing, and some of them are fathers who are maternal and nurturing. I'm talking about an archetype. I just think it'll be interesting and fun to see the manifestation day for yellow human be so attached to divine feminine energy. I said on the podcast this week that I am having a hard time communicating about spiritual things. This is spiritual, it is a spiritual path. I treat it like that. And my language and my thoughts are not totally at my peak of coherence or cohesiveness. And that is because, to me, yellow human is opposite to spirit communication. We're living the human existence. We're doers. And spirit is just there to fill our empty places, give us ideas and illumination and direction, and also hopefully soothe us with some kind of powerful healing light. And right now, we're playing with full humanity that will be balanced by white wind, the opposite of yellow human, but we're sort of devoid of white wind while we are in this passage. And white wind is not just spirit communication, but truth telling. I feel like I've been noticing that humans in my life are kind of like lying, and I'm a human and I'm not trying to be a better human than others. So I could look at where I'm lying. I think that's the work that's at hand right now. But by Tuesday, we're back to white wind, the day, white wind, the release of tension, the wave breaks, and spirit communication and some form of truth overriding lies and denial will be very much at hand. Sometimes I make podcasts because I'm just like trying to get through shit. And just think if I talk about the future in a few days here, I'll get there more easily, more healthily. So this was sort of an anti-tantrum edition of Natural Time, the Mayan astrology for a modern age teaching with me, Lisa Starr. I am another yourself, and in Mayan we say, in Lakesh.